All right, we are live. Welcome to today's after church tea time. I'm Lisi. I'm joined by Rachel and Nadia, fellow unionists, and we're here to talk about immortality. Takeaways from the Sunday service. Who would like to share any takeaways that they received first?
Well, I liked the bit at the beginning where you were talking about basically the impermanence of life, and people feel that when this life comes to an end, that's it, and so they try and cram as much as they possibly can into it. They're in a race against time to produce a significant legacy before they die. But it doesn't work like that, because sure, all the material stuff that you accumulate throughout your life, there comes a point when, without choice, that passes to others. But there is a lot of stuff that you take with you. Virtue, the sum of your experiences, all the good and bad deeds that you've done, absolutely everything counts. And you mentioned Elon Musk. He seems, as you sort of hinted in the sermon, that he seems to be running out of reserves of life force or something, because I saw a picture of him on the Joe Rogan show from 2018, and a picture of him when he was on it again recently. And it's like, oh my God, what's happened to him? It's like he's shrunk. He looks all dried up. Even his hair's got thinner. So yeah, maybe there's something that he's not doing quite right. Perhaps he should do more spiritual practice. But
Yeah. Well, he's not here to defend himself, but yeah, I think I got a lot of inspiration from the sermon from the life purpose class, Rocket Man, Elon Musk, and the journey to immortality. So yeah, I'm sorry. Continue.
well, I'll regain the thread. Yeah. But of course, that aside, um, even if our bodies are momentary and we are eternal, it, yeah, as you said, it's not an excuse to squander this life or procrastinate, because the life we've got, it's the one life that we've got in order to change our trajectory and attain enlightenment. So that's what the purpose of this life is for. Yeah, I read somewhere that it's only when you spend every second of this life striving to attain enlightenment or ascension, then you have fully understood life and impermanence.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the topic a lot, and I'm glad that you spoke about it, because I also did not really get the whole eternal thing. And I believe that this is it. This is the one life, and you're supposed to cram everything into this one life as much as you can, or you have failed. So, yeah, it feels so good to take the pressure off and to recognize how connected you are to God and how God is taking each step with you. So that in itself feels eternal. And I realize the times that I slow down and I take a moment to heal before I get something done, I'm able to move monumentally more than I was if I was like scrambling and feeling a pressure within myself. And it it feels like the slower and less pressure I give myself, the more I understand heaven on earth and recognize that eternity that we are grounding here.
Yeah, I feel that too. Like, I would try to mitigate some of that pressure by like falsely delaying completing projects. Like it was like the same upset, but I would do something a little different to try to control. And like, especially when I enjoyed something a lot, I would kind of like complete 95% of it and then like leave that last show or I was playing Nightmare Craft and Alexandra who is the CEO of Divine Gaming was, hey, why aren't you beating the Skeleton King, or the zombie lord? Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. And I realized that the reason was because I didn't want it to end. And so it's like different, it's the same kind of thing where like when you just complete the work in front of you with no pressure, or on the other side try to control the ending of the completion, then you just relax and everything just becomes more joyful. And like you said, it like you complete things more swiftly actually, and it just feels better to do things in divine order. So yeah, thanks for sharing. It's good insight.
So it feels like the theme of today's talk is slow and steady wins the race. I heard someone talking today about the speed that the turtle was doing when it beat the hare. Yeah, it's not about constantly doing and doing and doing. That can actually slow you down if you're not taking time to rest and recuperate. I also saw a law of attraction quote recently that said overworking is resisting. And I felt that. So I'm sure we can all look back to where we are like 3-4 years ago, the way we were trying to manifest our good back then compared to now, and it's just so much more peaceful now. And it's the peace that's the indicator as to whether or not you're doing it right. It has to be peaceful. Your good comes from peace, not from agitation or stress or excitement or anything like that. Yeah, one of my favorite authors, Bertrand Russell, in his book, The Conquest of Happiness, he wasn't sure whether to use the word conquest in the title, but he concluded that the happy life has to be relatively quiet, peaceful, rather than looking for excitement or entertainment all the time. When people do that to avoid being with themselves, and that's not going to help you. In order to have all your good, have all your desires, you have to just be present with yourself, be with yourself, be grounded, as you said in the sermon. That's the place from which all your good can arise. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't put time limits on yourself. Don't whip yourself into action. None of that is going to be helpful, and none of that is going to bring you what you desire. It's okay to slow it down, do what feels good to you, listen to your body. If your body's asking for rest or food, then give it that. But don't just push yourself through. I mean, it's so important how you treat yourself on this journey. You're not going to get to where you desire to be, your destination, without being really, really compassionate with yourself every step of the way. So slow down, ask yourself what you need, and give that to yourself right now.
Yeah, right. Because you're an eternal being, and I think a lot of the reason why people rush through things or try to, get there as fast as they can is because of this idea that they have a limited time, like Nadia was saying, like to complete something. And so actually doing things at a pace that's comfortable, that's the divine, I think the like the needle pointing towards divine order is what we're all going for. Because some people can take their immortality and use it in a way of putting things off or kicking the ball down the road and not actually doing the work of the day or delaying, right? So the opposite of rushing is delaying. And so what we're saying is like neither of those, that you're immortal and that you have all the time in the universe to get it, whatever it is you're working on learning. That means you can start to settle in and feel grounded and like, okay. And that, like you said, like that is gonna be what speeds things up, so to speak. Like I like the expression somebody taught me, I think I saw it on a reading somewhere. Slow means fast. I was like, well, it's not actually slow, but it's the concept of like slowing down that means fast. So I was actually curious, if you really feel into your own divinity, and even people that are watching the recording, if you really realize that you're a divine being, that your life is eternal and doesn't end, maybe it didn't start in this lifetime. Maybe it started, if you believe in past lives, like before. How does that change your approach because you're basically giving yourself unlimited time to do things? Like, would you change your approach to life if you really felt into that?
Yeah, if I feel into my past lives, I feel like I'm a very old soul and have been here for a long time. And when I think about that, it's one major lesson that God keeps telling me to learn lifetime after lifetime, which is to connect with God and recognize my divinity. And from my past life to now, I see that if I would just, surrender to divine order, that would feel so much better than controlling and seeing that I don't have to do this alone. And it reminds me that in this lifetime, something like really hit me, that I'm really connected to God when I almost drowned. And you hear these like and the near death experiences, and you connect to God because you're just in another realm from that experience. But when I almost drowned, I could feel in my heart that I wasn't going to die. Like there was no logical sense of having that truth, but it was just a voice in my head saying, "You're not going to die today. Don't worry." So just that connection in itself, people take a lifetime to achieve. And us just slowing down and keeping that peace, we see that it's always there and it will always be there. And it's so beautiful. And I really like what Rachel had said about overworking is resistance, because that was another lifetime of lesson of like feeling like you need to work and progress in order to feel worthy or feel that you belong. And that is the purpose why God brought you here. Where instead, God brought you here to ground into your ascension journey and to connect with Him so that you can elevate your soul. And the true purpose is so beautiful compared to separation consciousness.
That's amazing. I really, feel compelled to do another sermon in the future on near-death experiences, because there's so many different near-death experiences across cultures, ages, genders, and everybody's kind of reporting the same thing. And so it's proof that there is something else beyond this material life. And this material life is very important. I think, like, we have a couple quotes, by the way. I think I'm going to read them, or comments. Um, so Kelly writes, I've been avoiding stepping into my life purpose because I felt it was a time constraint. But ultimately, I'm having a fear from a past life where I was persecuted and killed for being my authentic self. It feels very real, even though I know I'm immortal. I'm having a lot of irrational fear come up because of this past life. And then she writes, overworking keeps me avoiding the truth. I think that's its only purpose, to keep you separate. Yeah. So yeah, overworking can be like a form of numbing out. But if you're here and you're watching this and you're aware of perhaps you've had a past life, and the patterns that you're working on now are patterns from your past life, then it behooves you to work through them in this life and not like say, oh, I'll take care of that in the next life after this. This actually speaks to like harmonious twin flame union too. If you're watching this, if you're on the Church of Union YouTube channel or visit the unionism.org website, we're all about bringing twin flames into harmonious twin flame union in this lifetime. And you don't want to say, oh, well, I missed my chance, I'll just wait till the next time, because that's a lie. You can actually heal it in this lifetime through practicing these teachings. And then there's so much more after that. After harmonious union, there's great stuff. So thank you, Kelly, for your comment. That's really juicy.
Yeah, certainly if you've become aware of a long-standing pattern that may have been there for lifetimes, if you've got the opportunity to heal it now, then you should take that opportunity. I mean, there's absolutely no point in living with that pattern for the rest of this life and hoping you get the opportunity to heal it in the next, because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if this is the work of the day, if the opportunity arises to clear separation consciousness, you should take it now, because separation feels terrible. It's like nobody should be experiencing it, not even for a moment, and certainly for no longer than necessary. So even if the process took the rest of this life, it would still be more than worth it, because it's an investment for all your future lives as well, which will be completely different to the past ones, because you won't have those patterns that have held you back in past lives. It's a no-brainer, really. Yeah, it's like what Nadia was saying. You felt that in previous lives your purpose was your relationship with God, and during that experience that you had, you were very connected to God, but that's all. You were also able to feel so connected to God because of your previous relationship with God. So this is why we should cultivate a relationship with God every day. Or it's the same as the practice in Buddhism of going to the enlightened beings for refuge from suffering. It will work a lot better if you do it regularly as a spiritual practice and connect with God, connect with the enlightened beings every day, rather than just praying when you're in trouble. It's like asking for help just when you feel you need it. If you have a relationship with God throughout, then it will be very easy to know that you're with God through all the ups and downs, through all the challenges, and much easier to allow God to help you move through your challenges, whatever they are.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to stay in tune with that to Kelly to just try it out. I know for a long time I had one foot in divine order and one foot in the material world. And so I was looking at the results of the work that I put into my spiritual inner work, and then looking at how I would attain what I was wanting to attain from working, how society would want. And I slowly and compassionately put both foot on my inner work. And it was a complete surrender to God, because no one else could compassionately show me the joy that I would find out if it wasn't for God guiding me. So, and that's what I tell my students too about financial literacy. Just try it out. Try out the abundance mindset. See how you like it. Maybe try it out another day, and the results aren't what you expected, but you never know. You may find this a very joyful life to practice. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. So,
Yeah, like I think it's a testament to living your best life. Like Jeff and Shaleia share that in their A New Earth series of like really bringing heaven to earth in all places. And like Nadia, you mentioned finances. I've had financial patterns most of my life that I was finally able to heal through watching Life Purpose class and through watching Jeff's money mastery workshop on YouTube. Like that was just so golden. But I felt like I finally got it, the connection between wealth and service and giving through Life Purpose class. And it just really opened up something that felt in my life like I felt wealth was like a very closed energy, like a get money and earn, and I felt like I was in lack. But then once I realized that you could expand your life purpose eternally, it just brought a lot of peace to my heart. And then I started desiring to cultivate my best life here on earth. Like it just I think I felt a lot of sadness in my life before I started to really claim my divinity here at the Church of Union. Like I felt this like what's the point energy? Like if life just ends at the end of, your body's cycle, what's the point if you don't take anything to your grave? Like that was a thought I had for a long time when I was going through periods of um believing that I was an atheist or agnostic. Um, and then when I came here, I started to really rekindle the truth in my heart that God is real and this life is real. And you can heal. I think that last piece is really tied with immortality. Like you can heal, and there's hope because of the fact that we are divine beings. So yeah, did you remember what you're going to share, Nadia? Okay.
I do remember, and it's along the lines of what you spoke to. I remember, like, I did a past life regression, and I, in my past life, was chasing money. I was very much into the materialistic world. And the past life that I remember, I was not with my twin flame. Instead, the love of my life was my mother, and she had raised me. She was a wonderful mother, but she passed away from cancer. And like you were saying, I felt like there was no point to life. Like if I live a life, I'm gonna live a grand, luxurious life and then peace out, you know? What's the point of anything else? I don't even have the love of my life. And so this life started off pretty much like that too, where I thought the only love that I could get that was of the divine love was from my parents. And the only true happiness I can get is if I can afford it with money. But I saw the lessons a lot clearer in this life. I was able to live with family who were very wealthy and rich, but they had a poverty mindset. And the experiences that I experienced with my divinity and peace, they were not even able to attain with money. And I remember even Jeff explaining his own life growing up, where he was, I think, upper middle class or middle class, but his family also had a lot of poverty mindset. And so it really didn't get them anywhere to that joy and peace that we think money will or materialistic gains will. And I'm so glad that I'm able to realize that now.
Yeah, amen. Well, I'm feeling like we're almost complete with the topic. Would anyone like to share anything else before we close?
You know, I'm feeling complete myself.
All right, there's one more comment. Thank you so much. Nadia and Lacey have been very focused on my life purpose, but it's been misdirected. I knew this as a child, and yet I still stayed in the consciousness of crash and burn. Thank you so much. Yeah, like that. Those patterns. All of us have patterns that we grew up with, and it's so nice. And Kelly says, "Thanks, Rachel," too. Um, it's so nice to come here to the Church of Union and have. I don't think I talked about this, but like all the support that's here collectively really like bolsters and magnifies your healing. I was watching a documentary. Um, it was called like the Divine Science series, and one of them was talking about collective consciousness's impact on setting intentions, and they've proven it with science too, that when you collect together, more healing takes place when you have a shared intention to heal. And that goes along with the Bible quote, when two or more are gathered in my name, there shall I be. That says, that was a quote from Jesus from the Bible. So all right, would anyone else like to share anything before we sign off?
Or
Yeah.
just, well, yeah, I just would like to add a little bit to the last thing that you said there, because you reminded me of this book I'm studying at the moment, Joe Fenn, about the rules of Kung Fu, where the master gave an arrow to each one of his sons, and both sons were able to snap those arrows. And then he handed the whole bundle of arrows to one of the boys, and he wasn't able to break the bundle. But when the father asked them to both try together they both snapped the bundle. So together they can achieve more.
Mm.
That's it.
Amen. I actually, when you were just starting to tell the story, I was thinking of the arrows themselves, like how unbreakable they were together in the beginning. That's very cool. I like that. Thanks for sharing that, Rachel.
Yeah, I like that story as well. And the benefits we have as a collective, it reminds me of all of the students in TFAS that go through such hardship. They would not be able to swiftly move through this without the community. Like I realized that, some of us go through divorces, some of us go through a lot of hardship, and with this community's help, it really is so much better. And I don't know where I would be without this community. So,
Amen. So that leads me to remind you that there are 4 days left to get your tickets to the Spiritual Life Summit in Michigan, where you can be around your fellow unionists or people that are exploring unionism or twin flames, and really be around the community, receive a lot. There's an art show that Shaleia is putting on Thursday, and then several workshops on Friday and Saturday, a church service on Sunday. So the Church of Union will be live on Sunday. You'll be together with your friends and community, and then there's a wedding following that, Daniel and Christina. We really can't wait. So if you haven't got your tickets, please consider doing that. Visit unionism.org to claim those. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really enjoyed this dialogue. I know I did, and I will see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.